Everyone knows that heating such greenhouses in winter is expensive due to the large heat losses through these huge glass surfaces, although this other type of greenhouse requires almost 2 times less energy for heating because the area of its glass is approximately 2 times smaller. Let's reduce the glass area several times more, and therefore we will only have this narrow window, and these surfaces will be covered with thermal insulation with a thickness of 5 or 10 centimeters. Of course, heat loss through a square meter of this thermal insulation is almost 10 times less than through a square meter of this window, but everyone understands that this window will provide very little solar radiation to the plants, and therefore we have to take the next few steps. We add these mirrors which direct approximately 2 times more solar radiation than the soil surface receives in such conventional greenhouses. This doubling of solar radiation radically improves plant growth, as demonstrated in several videos of my experiment with this mirror that directs solar radiation to these plants which therefore receive 2 times more solar radiation, this flux directly from the sun, and this flux from the mirror. I have made many cheap concave mirrors the cost of which is many times less than the cost of greenhouses, and the features of using this horizontal mirror were described in my previous video. My other video described the features of this vertical mirror. Here we need to install additional mirrors so that the solar radiation evenly covers the bottom of the greenhouse. You may notice some awkwardness in this solution and high costs of the support structures for this mirror, and therefore we lower the greenhouse below ground level, to about this design with this window, and this soil could be the same one that was here. Underground greenhouses are well known, and now I am showing photos of some of them, and their advantage is that these thick layers of soil provide thermal insulation and protection from sudden cold snaps. In addition, the greenhouses are heated by these huge masses of warm soil which was heated by the solar radiation and warm greenhouse air during the recent sunny period. Calculations say that the greenhouse can overheat when the sun is shining, and therefore we must be prepared to remove the thermal energy from the greenhouse air at this rate per square meter of greenhouse, and this is usually done with fans to circulate greenhouse air through similar underground pipes inside the greenhouse soil. Obviously, the warm greenhouse air heats this soil which will heat the greenhouse at night and on non-sunny days. In addition, my other videos sometimes describe more effective methods of cooling greenhouses using water or gravel. Total heat loss in all directions is approximately this value per square meter of greenhouse if the difference between this temperature of greenhouse air and this temperature of ambient air is 30 degrees Celsius, and if here we use not 1 layer of glass but 2 layers, and if we use thermal insulation here. A perfectly sunny day brings approximately this much solar radiation per square meter of greenhouse, and we can quickly calculate that the accumulation of this energy in the heating of this soil provides heating for the greenhouse for almost 2 days. This is sufficient for winters in North Dakota, but not enough for more northern regions, and therefore my future videos will try to find more efficient greenhouse designs for Saskatchewan and other Canadian regions, although you can try to improve this design. For example, here we can use 3 layers of glass, reduce the height of the window, or increase the area of these mirrors. On the other hand, more southern regions allow for a simpler greenhouse design, such as removing one of the mirrors or using only 1 layer of glass. Unfortunately, cloudy winters of Europe and around Seattle or Vancouver require additional lighting for plants, and be prepared for the fact that a long cloudy period can temporarily drop the greenhouse temperature to approximately groundwater temperature. My previous video described that we have to change the inclination of one of the mirrors several times a year. The second mirror has the right to be absolutely motionless, but its radiation will be inside the window only for several months around the winter solstice, that is just when we need large fluxes of solar radiation for plants and heating.